Hello, people,
Hello.
and welcome to this week's Wisco Goes West. That's Wisco.
And West.
Number 19. Teenage years. Almost done.
Almost out of the awkwardness.
The birthday came after 18. You're thinking, like, there's nothing cool. There's no drinking.
There's really nothing cool until you get to 21, right?
21, and then there's 25,
downhill.
and then there's 25. You get a cool insurance break, and then it's just, you get old. So, welcome. Sorry for the disappointing getting oldness. This is Juggernaut Productions. You can find us on social medias, Juggernaut Productions LLC on Instagram and on Facebook. And also, you can find us on Twitter at Juggernaut_prod. P-R-O-D. So this week we're bringing in Muzak first. Music release reviews, all the above. We don't have any new releases this week because we're doing throwbacks.
Throwback.
Boom. So I'm going to start with you, John.
Music was good.
Yeah, well, music was great. You know, throwbacks are easy for us because you don't have to give a rating because they're awesome albums.
Right.
So we're just highlighting some sweet, awesome throwback albums. John, why don't you start us off this week?
Because we're from the Midwest, I would like to shed light on Midwest people. So I reviewed D12, D12's World. Tracks to listen to, Get Up, Loyalty, My Band, and How Come. I think this album was not only great for hip-hop when you talk about like the Midwest, but also the diversity of like what people thought was just, you know, a thug group.
Yeah.
Like just like, hey, you're just a bunch of thug people, you know, you don't have any lyric talent, you don't have any like production talent, and you don't have like pop track talent.
Right.
And I think that this album showed off that they really covered like all their bases. So I thought it was a really good album. Go listen to. And also, fun fact is, back in 2004, when like hip hop was in this weird like one hit wonder, like clubby hit,
weird.
like you know, and this showed that like it's still well alive, and you know you can still get a good hip hop album.
Well, I also like the fact that it was the definite sound design too that that Eminem's known for, and they came through with, and it was definitely a good time, man. I love that album. I remember listening to it a lot when we were coming just through high school at that point in time. Speaking of another album about that time, this is Red Hot Chili Peppers' Californication.
Great album.
That's mine. Yeah.
Hey, we did a Midwest album that went west.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that. But yeah, so a few of them right off the top. Around the World is a big song I love.
Yep.
I'm huge about the ballad in Porcelain, and I also love the song Get On Top.
Just the entire album.
Whole album. Really good, man. Real good funk. Some, just very good influences. An album, again, I grew up on that I completely love.
Same.
It drives, it goes, and they got that, like I said, that Porcelain song that kind of just slows you down a bit through the middle of it, and then it gets back up and goes. It's fun stuff, man.
That's why I like the D12 is like it is in a way that is constructed quite opposite of that album, of where it's pretty much all fast paced, but like in a good way.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think those are two great albums that everyone should go listen to. They're easily accessible, all on Spotify. Go listen.
Jam them.
Now.
With your ear holes.
So, we're going to go film TV.
Film and TV. This week, the new Ghostbusters trailer came out. Anyways.
Who call?
Ghostbusters!
Sorry, you have to when you mention
You gotta finish it. Anyways, fans were not too happy. It was reported on Facebook / the Hollywood Reporter that the trailer received more than 600,000 dislikes within the first 30 million views, making it the most disliked non-music video on YouTube. And Melissa McCarthy was on some iHeartRadio talking about the trailer, and she said that it was even confusing. So it's a little hard when you're when your stars say it's a little confusing too. But a lot of people did not give it any good reviews. A lot of hate on the social media aspect. So John, I want to know your thoughts. What was your reaction to the trailer? And do you think there's anything to the argument of being brought up that there's 4 women starring in it versus men, obviously, in a male-oriented entertainment business?
I think, first off, I love the trailer. I'm a huge Melissa McCarthy fan. I've followed her since Gilmore Girls as she played Suki, and like she's just grown into this amazing comedic that has also put, women rights very front on her, everything she does.
Yeah.
I think that, yes, I think for me, it is 100% the fact of that it's not only a male-oriented industry in entertainment, but also in the comic book world.
Right.
Like the next layer of like those geeks are mostly guys, and so I think that it is 100% on the fact that there's 4 women and that the co-star is a male.
Right.
So I think that has a lot to do with it.
I agree with you 100% on that.
I'm extremely excited just because I'm a huge Ghostbusters fan, male or female.
Right.
I think that it did get a little confusing, and they, spoiler alert coming. If you haven't seen the trailer, it starts off with 30 years ago, and she did have to clarify that it is not,
affiliated. Right?
Yeah, it's not a revival; it's a reboot. It's an entirely the same story, just told totally
30 years
different.
later.
Yeah, just
basically
totally
just suggests at the beginning of that. To me, how I took it is it says 30 years ago, 4 scientists saved New York.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, and then it says it's about to happen again, or something similar to that effect. That's how I took it, but. I can see where people were confused.
Yeah, and well, I was confused the first time I saw it. I thought that it did mean that it was, because I read that it was not going to be like a sequel to it. It was going to be a totally new movie. And even though I saw it, I was like, wait a second, I thought this was totally different. And, she went to clarify in the, interview that it is totally different. Same cool story, but totally different how it's told.
Right.
So yes, I will go see it in theaters. I think people need to calm the fuck down and let women control their movies. And I think it's going to be great. They have 4 amazing women actresses, comedians, and
I think it's going to be really good. I don't know if I'm going to
yourself, men.
I don't know if I'm going to go see it in theaters because I'm a broke SOB, but I'm really excited for the movie. I think it's a good time, man. So John, what do we got for sports this week?
Interesting news coming off of the off season and right after the draft for the NFL world. Last year it was kind of talked about, during the Rams move that Oakland might move to Vegas, but there was recent activity showing that it's probably going to happen within at least 5 years. There's a lot of talks of how they're going to establish the deal. The governor of Nevada is already on board with it. So there's a lot of good things that are going. But Randall, what are your thoughts on the move? And would you, if you were the owner of the Raiders, would you rather stay in Vegas, or go to Vegas? Or stay in Oakland?
I think. Well, a lot of that is a pretty weighted question, right? Especially as the owner. If I'm the owner, I'm going to do whatever the hell makes me more money, I guess, right? Yeah. However, when you talk about the fan base and how many people are going to be willing to come to you, I think they're in a position of the NFL now where they have the power to be able to move where they want to, and people will still follow them. As a fan, as someone that really knows that franchise and know how it was brought up, know how a certain, we talked about this earlier, NWA, for crying out loud, made them giant by just wearing their gear throughout their upcoming. Right. To me, that you're taking the heart of what is Oakland, that whole heart of it, just boom, 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 boom. Yeah. Only thing Oakland really has, short of the Warriors lately, and that's, Sacramento, right? Like, it's in Oakland, right? But it's outside of it. So in that case, just, I don't know, man. I'd rather not see him move. I don't think that Vegas deserves a football team. You have Sin City, you have the lights, you have all the gambling, you have boxing, as we suggested. You have a tight hold on that. So I think it sucks for the Oakland fans. I don't know if any of the LA Oakland fans will really care too much because it's probably the same trip for them. So I think your LA base would stay the same. However, because Vegas is pretty much considered a suburb of LA at this point in time. It's only a 4-hour drive up there, 5. So it's pretty close to the same as what you got from the Oakland fans there too. It'd be sad to see a team like that, though, with that history move. It'd be like
just
watching
take a shitty team like the Browns and move them.
Yeah.
Why do you have to take such a team? That's like if the Packers were to move.
No, I'm with you on that. There's a lot of history there that I can't fathom moving away from the West or just in the state of California.
But I think this also is like a tribute to the bad luck that is the Oakland Raiders.
Yeah.
I think that may attribute. They finally are getting a good team, and like you said, to move them now would kind of questionable.
Yeah.
So. Let's flip to politics.
All right.
And today, we're not talking per se one politician versus the other. President Barack Obama was asked about overall questions of the general election, and I kind of wanted to take that same route. So going really quick, today we're reflecting on the election, and what we mean by that is it's kind of been crazy. We have an underdog in Bernie Sanders. We have who's trying to stay alive right now. We have a man who isn't getting any backing from his own party in Trump. And obviously, we have someone that might become the first woman president, which is amazing to me.
Yeah.
But either way, like I said, whoever wins, history is made.
Yeah.
So what will you take from this overall election? And, what else can we do as far as, and we are shedding light on the Democratic Party because we are both Democrats. But what should the Democrat Party take away from this, and how do we move forward?
Well, a big part to me is that we were kind of just talking overall as the election, right?
Right.
How historical all this is. First off, if Bernie makes it, you got the first Jew to take office.
Go Bernie.
If Hillary, right, first woman. Trump is probably going to be the first president to ever be there, not backed completely by his party.
Yeah.
And all those kind of things is a pretty crazy concept. What do I take away from the election? I take away that people are sick of seeing this country in the state that it's in, regardless of what side they choose, of who they choose to back.
Mm-hmm.
I think they want change. That's the biggest thing. And everybody is, of course, that's the same thing in politics. Everybody is suggesting they will do that. Now, how will they change? Trump wants to build a wall and make America great again. Now, I still have yet to hear any, and I beg of you, any listeners who are Trump fans, to give me his policies on what he plans to do for sort of education or foreign affairs. I would like to hear about that.
Did you see, speaking of that, to interrupt, now this election just posted a video of him being asked about his agenda and spending and how he wants to cut. And he literally said that he wants to cut spending on education and the environment.
Yeah.
He says that the Department of Environment Services and Protective Services is a waste of money and time. So there's one of them.
So anyways, that again adds to the craziness that is this election,
Yeah, exactly,
right?
exactly.
You have certain people who do believe what he believes in that sense, right? Who do believe that, hey, I got to cut from education, I got to do this so we can build a wall and not let our illegal immigrants take over our jobs.
Right.
Understandably, you got Bernie who's against the government completely. Like, we got to turn this thing upside down.
Yeah.
We got to completely flip it on its side and say, hey, this establishment's not working. There's a top 1% that are pushing the rest of us down. He wants that lower class to come up to be able to live, basically, and that's why I'm for him.
Right.
At that point in time, and again, Hillary. Well, I was a Hillary supporter. The media's done a great job on showing how she is very wishy-washy.
Yeah.
And that to me is just that's politics at its worst, and I don't like that aspect of any politician. And when they point, when someone's able to point that out for them. I'm sorry, I don't see Bernie wish-washing over the last 40 years.
Right.
So.
I think that's what, the president talked about as well, is that with this election, the thing that he seems to be taking away is the fact that the media is giving, obviously skewed information on, obviously, more Trump and more Hillary. And what he was saying is that the people that vote make great decisions when they're well-informed.
Yeah.
And I think, kind of what you just said about the whole wishy-washiness and blah, blah, that has nothing to do with, it does, but it doesn't,
Right.
And so I think that's a good factor that you talked about is media,
Yeah, the media can definitely push us into thinking one way or another, whether or not that politician is ever wishy-washy or not.
Right.
They might have, anything can be taken out of context. In Hillary's defense, she might have said something that the media put completely out of context. Now, when she says she's carrying hot sauce in her purse on the Breakfast Club, I don't believe that.
I really hope she did, though, because...
Because that'd be baller!
Because that would make me possibly switch over.
If she had hot sauce, dude.
Because not only would we have the first female president, we might have the first white president.
And she's putting hot sauce on her chicken and waffles. I'm down, bro.
Yep.
I am so down. So, give us your thoughts on what you think about this presidential election. I know there's a lot out there, and we'd love to hear them. On social media, we'll be posting some stuff up. So, again, come check us out there.
Please.
We're going to move on to Global USA. You want to take the wheels on this one, John? No, I'm going to take the wheels on this one. You stay right there.
I'm staying here.
This week, it was announced by the leader of North Korea, Kim Jong-un, if you aren't familiar, that they will not use nuclear weapons unless the sovereignty of their country is threatened. In 2006, North Korea stated that their nuclear weapons, or that they were going to test their nuclear weapons and strategy, while making many threats on the U.S. and South Korea as well. It seems they're kind of putting it on the back burner, hopefully, which. That's our questions that come up to this, right? Do you think that that's a way of distraction, or do they actually mean what they said, John? Or how do you think the U.S. is affected by this, if at all? And should we be involved, or if at all?
Yes, I think that there might not be a distraction. I think that a long time ago, when Kim Jong-un's father was in office, the United States was talking about that at some point North Korea will need help. They don't have any food, they don't have any proper water. Agriculture, anything like that. So at some point, it was predicted that they would need help.
Right.
I hope that's not a distraction, obviously. I have obvious ties with Korea, being Korean myself, and the United States. But what I think is how we're affected by it is I don't think we are affected by it. And I think that sucks on the fact that no one really that are American, understand the problem and what this really means. We talked about it great with Japan and Germany. Well, we were involved in that. We understood what the other strategy was.
We were attacked in that.
Exactly.
Right? Not just threatened. We were physically attacked.
Yeah, but also I think they, Americans took time to understand what was going on. The Korean problem right now is that it's split. The country is split. You have relatives that cannot come out of North Korea to get to South Korea.
Yeah.
And obviously, I think the U.S. should be involved in the fact, and I think we're involved plenty enough right now, having troops in Busan, having troops in Seoul and on the DMZ.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that American citizens need to understand the real problem with this. You talked about the bombings that we've done to other countries.
Right.
That had to go through Congress. That had to go through politicians.
Right. Legislative.
In North Korea, Kim Jong-un can wake up and decide that he wants to bomb someone and just press it and go. And I think people need to understand that and what the real problem is and everything how it hurts South Koreans in general.
100%.
I think that, hopefully they said that they're going to possibly start working on building relationships and trust and understanding. And I hope that happens because, my birth grandparents are in North Korea, split from my birth family in South Korea. And so I think that's, that is a well-told story by many Koreans. And I hope that we can, come to the solution.
Well, as you said too, knowledge is power, right? We talked about it in the election at that point in time.
Exactly.
In that section, it's a point of we don't, most of us U.S. citizens have no clue what's going on over there. And you made a point earlier too of like, what's funny to me is that people will still ask you if you're from Korea, whether it's North or South.
Yeah.
And you do understand that North Koreans aren't moving anywhere.
They can't. Yeah, they can't come in or out. So.
All right, last one, people. Donkey of the week. Hopefully your favorite. It's my new favorite.
It is my new favorite.
Yeah, I know, right? Cavaliers are on a roll. Look at this. Cavaliers, guys, on a roll. My Heat are doing pretty well, too.
They are.
But anyways, they made NBA history by becoming the first team to drain 18 threes in a half and 25 threes in a game, either in a regular season or a playoff game. So this was against the Hawks. When was this, yesterday?
Game 2.
Game 2 against the Hawks. TNT analyst Charles Barkley had been catching attention for comments that he made after that Cavs destroying of the Hawks of 123-98. During the game, the Cavs broke those 2 records that we just talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Barkley went on to say that the Hawks should take somebody out, quote, end quote. Now, while he went to say that he didn't mean to hurt any Hawks players, like don't hurt anybody,
right?
But more along the fact of it should have been a hard foul, something to kind of, show some presence in the paint, basically, is how I took it as him. So my question to you, John, is of course, that's the last question. I'll bring this one up last. What should the Hawks have done? What is the balance from hurting a player and or sending a message? How do you really, as a coach or even as Charles Barkley as an announcer, suggest that you can go hard foul without saying take somebody out?
Yeah.
And then the last one, I'll ask once you go through these first 2.
I think that on the fact of just the balance between sending a message and hurting a player, Ron Artest versus Michael Jordan.
Right.
Michael Jordan, if you came down the lane, or Charles Oakley for the Knicks, when you came down that lane, you understood that you're going to get hit.
Yeah.
And they're going to try and push you down, get you down for you not to come up. Now, what Ron Artest did was push that limit and elbow people in the ear on purpose, you know, and where there's just unnecessariness. But I think that there should have been not to take a player out, but to send a message that you're not also going to bend over backwards.
Right.
I think that their effort was, pretty much non-existent, and that's the least you could have done for just your fans, just for your franchise. Like, you're being embarrassed on national television during the playoffs. Yeah. Like, do something about it.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it too. I agree with that. So, the real question is Charles Barkley the donkey of the week?
No. I think that he had all right intentions. Like you pointed out, he played in an era where that happened.
That definitely happened.
And also, I bring it back to the Duke UNLV game when the Duke went against the Running Rebels.
Okay.
And the national championship where they got their asses kicked.
Yeah.
You know what Mike Krzyzewski did? He kept their starting point guard Bobby Hurley in the game. Why? To understand how that feels.
Yeah.
You know, and the Hawks should have came out last night and won, and they didn't.
Right.
They just bent over backwards again.
Yeah.
So I think it's more on the Hawks. Do something, or just get outplayed and then shut up.
Yeah, Hawks. I think we changed it from Charles Barkley to the Hawks.
I think the Hawks deserve the donkey of the week.
That's all I got for you this week, guys. We super appreciate you listening in. Again, this was episode 19 of Wisco Goes West. And please, check us out on social media. We are on Facebook and Instagram under the same tag. Just search @Juggernaut Productions, LLC. And also on Twitter, @Juggernaut_prod. PROD.
One last announcement. We will be taking a little hiatus. We have a little trip coming up that is considered my wedding.
Hey, it's his wedding, guys.
It's my
He's
wedding.
Gonna get married. Congratulations.
So, thank you. We will be a couple weeks off, but we will repost old episodes. We will keep active on all of our social medias.
I might even do a quick short one. Who knows?
We should.
Who knows?
Follow
but
us.
There might be a little bit of a break. You might see a fun wedding one, but just to let everybody know that does follow us on a regular, it's not going to quite be a weekly for the next 3 weeks probably.
Yep.
We'll start back hot in June. I appreciate you guys listening again. Have yourselves a great Memorial Day, and keep tuning in. Keep rocking.
Thank you.